Hello, my friends, and welcome to a space where pleasure is treasured, relaxation is not what you think it is, and life firing on all cylinders is what we're about. If you are somebody who wakes up every day asking for way more, consider this your happy place. Welcome to the Creation of Living podcast. I'm your host, Heather Nichols. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Creation of Living podcast. I'm here with you again from Saudi Arabia, from Riyadh, and want to talk today about travel hacks. Let's explore some travel hacks because I got lots of them. And really, it's like, what does it take to move through the world? If you would like to travel, how can you create it? How can you create it in a way that is ease for your body and ease for you? And I consider myself an expert in this topic. I have a very particular body. She loves nice things. She loves luxury, beauty. She loves ease. So do I. And so, budget travel is like I don't mind saving money on travel, but travel that is specifically like minimal, going minimalistic on travel to save money, cutting corners, things like that. Doesn't really work for me. Part of it is that I spend a large percentage of my life traveling. And so if I traveled once a year, maybe that would be fine, but it's like I like to have a sense of home everywhere that I go. And part of that is energetic, and part of that is also how we, what we know that we require, not having judgment of what we require and setting ourselves up for that. So, there's a million like things that I could tell you, like things that I bring with me and set up ahead of time. And I probably won't remember all of them, and they change all the time too. But I wanted to just dive into some of the energetics of having travel with ease, and kind of some awareness that might contribute to you knowing what to bring with you and how to create what you desire. So I would say the first thing is, for me, it's like the less I judge me and how, like, what I require every day, the more clarity I have on what that is, and the less judgment I have of me. Like, oh, I'm asking for too much. I'm too high maintenance. I don't need that. I can do without it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all judgments that keep us from actually gifting our bodies what it is that they actually require and desire for ease. And for me, when I travel, so often it's to either facilitate classes or to work on access consciousness classes. I don't do a lot of like vacations. My travel to me is so fun, so I don't feel like I really need a vacation from anything. But I'm working, I'm enjoying, I'm having a great time, and there's a lot of energetic movement happening in my world. And so in a lot of ways, like my body requires a lot of care to be able to kind of still be able to facilitate and contribute the way that I know that I can, and then also like be moving and changing hotels and flying and all that kind of stuff. So the from the get-go, it's like I know what I require, and I know what works for me, and I know what doesn't. Um, so when I set up my travel, first of all, there's a lot of magic that I would invite you to play with if you're interested in having a lot of ease with travel. Um, so when I set it up, it's like I'm always asking questions. So when is it the time to book a flight? And lately I've been booking flights very close to the date that I leave. I used to book flights quite far in advance. That was more of a point of view. And now it's kind of more like I'm in the question and I know when it's time to book a flight. And sometimes like, I think it's time, like last night I was like, it's time to, it was like, it's time to go to the United website and look for my flights to Europe coming up in a few weeks. And And as soon as I did, it was clear that it wasn't time to book. Like the rates had changed and there just wasn't ease. And that's one of the biggest indicators. When there isn't ease with anything that you're doing regarding travel or in your life in general, um, take a pause and ask some questions because it may be that it's not the time. There may be some other awareness you need to have. Maybe your trip is going to change and you don't know it. Maybe the dates are going to change. Maybe there's just, a time where there's going to be better rates. One of the things I got was today was like, I need to call United and actually talk to somebody. So one of the things I'll do is I'll ask for someone like when I call, I'm just in question all the time. So it's like when I call, it's like I will ask the universe, like, give me somebody who is going to really help me and create something really great with me in terms of what I desire, the ease, business class is a priority for me. And I also, I'm not a fan of paying like $15,000 for flights. So I, um, I create business class in lots of ways, upgrades and all of that stuff. And sometimes I pay for the upgrades, sometimes I use points. But it's a huge part of it is the awareness of knowing when something needs to occur and taking the action in that moment. That happened the other day. I didn't take action when I knew I needed to change a flight, and then it became kind of a pain in the butt to change it. And I ended up talking to somebody who gave me the information I needed that made it ease. But I was like, if I had followed my knowing when I knew it was time to change it, it probably would have just been fine. Um, so whenever you're booking travel or looking at like planning a trip or anything like that, if you have a sense that it's not ease, like if there's a sense of it's not working, ask some questions. Is now the time? What do I need to be aware of? What am I aware of that I haven't acknowledged? What else, is there somebody I need to talk to? All these types of questions that just give you more awareness, more information, and then you'll know like where to go, who to talk to, when to book, all those things. Now, with business class flying, it's for me, it's like that's a huge priority for me. And again, I also am not spending $15,000 on flights, to Europe or whatever. So one of the things, this could be like a creation class podcast as well, because these are the tools that I use for everything, the tools of access consciousness. So one of the things for me is it's a choice. It's like I will, on any long flight overseas, I will be flying business class. And nowadays it's kind of like on any flight. And I have created enough, with my status with United and all that stuff where I get a lot of free upgrades and I can use points for upgrades and things like that. But more than that, it's like it's my choice. I'm like, I will be laying down. I love flying over the ocean, business class, laying down, watching movies. It's incredibly nurturing for me. It's nurturing time. So the flight then starts to feel like some yummy me time with movies and sleeping and napping and taking care of myself, not having to talk to anybody, rather than like an exhausting, grueling flight where I'm sitting the whole time. And for me, it's like I don't have the point of view that I can't afford it or it's not possible. It's like I'm choosing this. So let's see now how that's going to show up. I live as much as I can every day, more and more all the time, from knowing that my choice is what creates things and the miraculousness of that. So, and that's something that I really work to strengthen all the time. And with travel, I get to have that a lot. This hotel, for example, I didn't really want to spend the money on this hotel. I was looking at other hotels in the area and I just wasn't finding anything that remotely where my body was like, yes, that will work. So another hack is ask questions, look on the map, see where you're going to be, what's going to work, what do you require? Like, do you require for this trip, I wanted to be in a walkable area, like where I could walk to restaurants, and I love to walk. So I want to be somewhere where I can walk and not like in the middle of a concrete jungle. I want to be somewhere where there's nature, and where it's just ease for me to move around and not by car. I love to be outside. I love to walk, so I know my body requires that. So that's also something I look for when I find an area to stay. Um, and so as I was looking at the hotels, it was like I had found some other places that were like, this could do, but it wasn't like, yeah. With this hotel, my body was, yes, 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 please, let's do that, you know? And I was like, okay, I don't really want to spend that much money. And so I just kept asking and I didn't book and I kept asking. And then I was like, well, let's use the reality of choice creates, you know. Um, if I choose it, it will create it. And so I did, and I booked it, and I made a deal with myself, and I was like, all right, if there isn't the money flow to support this hotel, I can change it, you know, and I'm choosing it. I'm choosing it, and you know, I made sure the reservation was cancelable and all that stuff, and then what do you know? The money showed up as it does because money follows our choice. It's our choice that allows the money to show up and all the other things. So, and I ended up finding it for a better price than I had seen anywhere else at the time when I knew to book. And then I asked where to book, and I followed the energy, and I went to that website and I booked there, and it was easy. I'm going to be leaving this hotel. My flight home leaves at 2 a.m. on Sunday night. And I was like, I'm not willing to check out of the hotel at 11 a.m. and have all of that time kind of homeless before getting on a very long flight home. Like I had a sense that would not be easy for my body. It will extend the sense of travel to by like, you know, way, 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 way more hours. It'll feel like I'm traveling for way more hours. And I don't desire to do that. I'd rather be here. I'd rather come here after class, have a dinner, have some spa time, get refreshed, pack up, you know, get ready for bed and leave. And so I asked the universe, okay, what would it take for me to get to stay here until 11 p.m.? And I called when I knew to call. Last night it was like, it's time to call the front desk. I called, and then this morning they called me back and they said, you know, no problem, you can stay until 11 and we'll just charge you less than half of the rate. I was like, perfect, you know, that really works for me. And so now I have a sense of ease of being able to be here, be, you know, kind of have my home away from home that I've set up here. And so much of the booking and all of that stuff and the choosing is it's the awareness of the timing, it's the choice that you make, it's the willingness to ask for what you know is going to work for your body without judging it, without being like, I'm too high maintenance, I can't afford this. None of those are questions. Questions will open up the possibilities and expand what it is that you can receive. And knowing that your choice is what creates, which is a huge, huge, huge part of this. Okay, so now let's talk about just some pragmatics, you know, like when I'm packing, I really kind of go out into the future and I look and I go, like, I ask the question of, like, what am I going to require? And I just perceive whatever that is. And I start playing with that sometimes even a week, 2 weeks before I leave for a trip. It depends on the, you know, whatever it is. But I'll start like playing with the energies of the trip and what I'm going to require and just being in question of that. And because it's different everywhere. Like for this trip, I needed more, you know, I was going to be in a very hot place, but I actually needed pants. I needed wraps for my shoulders because you cover your shoulders in the Middle East and you don't wear shorts and all these things. And it's just to me, it's an honoring of the culture and the people. So, you know, I needed to have that in my awareness of, you know, what to bring. And so it's things like that, like just being in the question of what's required and ask your body. Your body will tell you if you're like, body, which clothes are you going to desire to wear? Your body will go boom, boom, boom. Stand in your closet and see what kind of falls off your shelves, you know, or your rack or whatever. Your body will show you. what it requires, if you don't think about it, it's going to be a lot easier. And then so then it's like I kind of go through, like I'll go through like my day at home. What do I do? What do I require in the morning? Okay, well, I have supplements. I like to make my coffee. A lot of times I'll travel. I have like a little portable espresso machine that I travel with. I grind my coffee ahead of time and bring that with me. So it's like, and on this trip I asked, do I require this espresso maker? And I got a no. And I was like, okay, great. I'm not going to bring it. And I had a little moment of like, oh my gosh, I'm not bringing my coffee with me. But in both of the hotels I've been in, there was an espresso machine. And actually in this one, I was able to find organic milk, which I really enjoy. My body, that works so much better for my body. So it's like, again, being in the question and kind of going through, like I'll go through my day and go, okay, what do I need when I, take a shower, and, all the things for my body, and what might I require extra, maybe some supplements or products or whatever. Body, are you going to require any of this? What do you require? What will you require? My body will show me, and it's always spot on. It's kind of amazing. And then there's so you just kind of go through your day, go through your nighttime routine, go through your food situation. Like for me, I bring a lot of food with me. I have protein, like meat sticks that I travel with always. So, I need to know before I take a big trip. I will order those well in advance so they're there. So it's just being organized and aware and in question of what's coming, what you're going to require. I'll bring my protein with me. I bring protein powder with me. I bring my water. I have like a hydrogen water bottle I bring with me. Electrolytes, things like that my body loves. I bring a lot of nuts with me. And sometimes I even bring bread with me, which is hilarious. But I have this bread at home that I just love. And I'll ask, like, will I be happy if I bring the bread? It's like, yeah, okay, cool, I'll bring it. This time I didn't. And there was a place right next to my hotel that had beautiful sourdough bread, like seeded whole wheat sourdough bread. And my host was, willing to bring it to me. So that, it's like I have these little rituals and things that I like to do every day with my body. And I do stay in question, but I just do everything that I can to make sure that I've got what I require, which is way over the top compared to most people. I'm like, at breakfast, I want to have my toast with avocado and sauerkraut. I love that. And what do you know? The place next to my hotel in Kuwait had sauerkraut, a big thing of it. So I bought it and I brought it with me to Riyadh, and I have just enough to last until I leave tomorrow. And so it's just being willing to have the world and the universe and the earth care for you, being willing to have people care for you, knowing that you will be cared for as you move through the world, and being in question as to what you require. There's also lots of other little things, like I bring a power strip with me I actually have one that is a European to United States. So the plug is a European plug, and then it's got, 6 power banks for US plugs, a USB, so you can like plug all of your devices into it. And it's European, and it doesn't necessarily convert. You need converters and adapters, and converters convert the power. But with, technology, computers and phones, you don't really need that, at least with Apple devices. But that's really helpful, to just have a lot of plugs. I have a straightening iron that has dual wattage. So it works it works in the United States, and it works in European countries that are 220. So that was just a cool, like there's one particular brand that I know of. I think it's called like Jose Bear or something like that. I found them in London that has dual wattage, and that makes it really easy for me. And then I just have to have a little adapter when I travel. I always keep my adapters with like close to my passport. So, never leave home without those. And there's just all kinds of other little hacks, like, but it's not so much what I do. It's like what I wanted to share really was the energy of this, and like, what if you really could have tons of ease moving through the world? What if your choice could create the travel that you desire to create, like where, how, business class, however you want to do it. Staying in nice hotels if you prefer that. Just include your body in the creation of travel, the planning of travel, the institution of it, and you will be so delighted with what shows up if you're willing to receive. I did do a podcast last week on beauty, the vitality of beauty, and that was a lot of chatting about our bodies and how beauty really contributes to us if we're willing to choose it. And that's a big part of, maybe this is kind of like part 2 of that, because it's a big part of what allows me to like including my body dynamically and letting my body lead with choices that concern my body is a huge piece for me and a big priority, and it always creates greater. So you can listen to that podcast if you'd like. And I'm also going to be doing a 3-part call starting on the 24th of October called Beauty in Your Body. So we'll be exploring a lot of these energies in that call as well. What is it to let your body lead with the choice for beauty, elegance, hedonism, pleasure, and allow that to be a source and a force for the expansion of your whole life, living, and reality. So come and join me for that call. And also any sort of like financing, travel, I'm doing a series right now. We're in the middle of it. It's 65 days called The Money Pulls, and it's $65 for 65 days. It's been so powerful. There's so much change occurring. It's literally $1 a day. And it's open, like it'll be open, until we're done. I think we're on day 38 or something like that. So everything's recorded, 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, little short energy pulls and little snippets of things for increasing your money flows and really getting into a reality where that choice creates, your choice creates. And so you're invited to come and join that too if you haven't already. It's been amazing. And there's so much more. I will be flying home tomorrow. I'll be in Boulder for a little bit, doing a 3-day body class in Boulder, and then off to Europe, 3-day body class and all kinds of classes on tour with Dane here, the Symphony of Possibilities, the Maestro class, advanced body class, lots of amazing stuff coming up. And it's all created from choice. How do we get so lucky? Thanks for being here and have a great week. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me for the Creation of Living podcast. If this conversation was inspiring to you, share the love. To work privately with me or for info on my upcoming classes and retreats, go to heathernichols.com. Have a beautiful day, and remember that the world thrives when you do.